Everything should be on. Okay, all cables plugged in, everything is on, and I'm pretty sure recording. It's so great to record 2 hours of something and realize you didn't hit the button. But life is a learning experience. Okay, so welcome to the Genesis collection. Actually, that's really loud. I'm gonna turn that down a little. There we go. No idea if that actually affects the recording, but at least I don't have to listen to the feedback, which was super irritating. Okay, so this was the Genesis collection for Switch, which I bought mainly for the nostalgia, because although I am now primarily a Nintendo player as a child, my first video game console was actually the Sega Genesis 2, way back in the day. Oh, not again. This thing keeps thinking I'm using a single Joy-Con when I am not. So we have to... Hello, computer. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. So, this collection of Genesis games actually includes a surprising number of games that I did play as a child. And also does not include a lot of the weird, obscure ones that I really loved. But today I want to take a look at Shining Force. I love Fire Emblem. I'm a huge fan of that now. I don't play that many other SRPGs, but the very first SRPG I actually played was Shining Force 2: The Sword of Heija, which was a Gaiden game to the Shining Force 1 and 2, which are parts of the Shining series. When I was a kid, I thought Shining Force was the name of the series. Apparently, it's just the Shining series. Shining in the Darkness was also in that series, and Shining Wisdom, neither of which I played as a child. I never played anything but Shining Force: The Sword of Heija, and then when I was older, I played the first 2 games on an emulator, and I'd never played any of the others prior to this. So this isn't the Shining Force I started with, but tragically, Shining Force: The Sword of Heija was apparently not iconic enough to include in the Genesis collection, in spite of the fact that it is my favorite of the 3. But this is a great classic game, and for me, it was my introduction to the SRPG genre, so without that, maybe I would never have gotten into Fire Emblem. So let's give it a try. I do like all the little bells and whistles on this thing with, like, you know, seeing the cartridge plug into the TV and stuff. It gives a little bit of charm. It's kind of classy. In ages long forgotten, light fought darkness for control of the world. As to be expected from a JRPG. Dark Dragon led the evil hordes of darkness. Maybe he changed his name after he started leading them. The ancients fought back with the powers of light. This game is honestly very Fire Emblem, and then has an evil dragon. I mean, even the first Fire Emblem game was called Dark Dragon and the Sword of Light, so hey. The Dark Dragon was defeated and cast into the dimension, naturally. The Lord of Darkness, I think this is Dark Soul, who we'll meet later, vowed to return in 1,000 years. That's very specific. Yeah. He needed the time off. That's how I feel, honestly. If I could just take 1,000 years of vacation time and then come back, I'd do it. Time passed and Dark Dragon was forgotten by all, because even though he threatened to return in fucking 1,000 years, no one wrote that down, apparently. They were like, it'll be fine. They thought he was kidding. So 10 centuries of peace ruled the land of Rune, until the kingdom of Runefaust brought war and fear to Rune. So they're named Rune and Runefaust. That's not very creative. Hordes of evil creatures ravaged every land. Some of them are robots, as you can see in the corner there. We'll fight them later. It's interesting how many early JRPGs had a lot of sci-fi elements, because the first Final Fantasy game also has some. And so do a lot of others. It's even though I think now it's sort of like, oh, modern JRPGs do that, it's kind of been in the genre since the beginning. Much more so than Western RPGs, I would say, which is interesting. I also love the subtitle here, The Legacy of Great Intention, because it kind of makes it sound like the hero sucks. It's like, well, he had good intentions, but he didn't accomplish a lot. And now we meet this kid, and the weird thing is the framing device of the save screen is that this child has read this book that told the legend about the Dark Dragon or whatever, and she realizes that Runefaust must be attacking because Dark Dragon is about to return, and tells us that we need to go fight. But the main character of the story, who we'll play as, doesn't seem to have any connection to this child. She doesn't appear anywhere in the game, and the main character doesn't seem to know anything about this, so she's talking to us, the player. I'm starting a new file primarily... Actually, I'm just going to delete the old file because I recorded on it for 2 hours and then realized that I fucked up and didn't actually hit the button to start recording. So, let's just start over, shall we? The main character of this game, as you can see, is a dude. We don't have any options, so I'm going to name him Ben. That's actually my confirmation name. So when I'm playing a game that has a set main character you can't pick and it's a dude, I often name them Ben, since it is my name. Her name is Simone, which I'm sort of amazed that they gave her a name because she's not a character in the game. She's only on the save screen. So it's like, who the hell is she? She appears to be an elf, so does she live in the mage land that we'll go to later where there's other elves? I have no idea. She's kind of intriguing though, because it's like, what the hell? Also, unsurprisingly, our mentor is beating us into unconsciousness because that's how learning happens. Apparently he was also training us in this little flower garden next to a chapel because that's the best place to learn swordplay. You know, that's not out in the training yard, you know, with the knights or anything. Just out in the backyard in the flower garden. You know, won't get messed up. So many questions. Okay, Path to Master Swordsmanship, Warrior Techniques, many more books. I will say, all the bookcases have like a list of the books in them, and I love all the little grace notes in this game. There are so many fun, charming little things like that. Like, they didn't have to put anything there. It has no impact on the gameplay, it's just kind of cute. So here we're going to meet our buddy, who I guess is supposed to be our friend, but there's never really any development of this relationship, and he's sort of useless in combat, so I don't really care about him. He's tired after 15 minutes. This is an early hint that he's not very good in battle. He's the healer, but we'll get better ones later. And now he's blocking the way, so we have to go back here, at which point we activate this cutscene. I don't know why they bothered making us walk into the house to meet our buddy there. He's not important to the plot. At no point will he have a story role. It seems like he's going to, it seems like he should, but he does not. He is useless. Here he is again. Did you see Varios' face? He went pale. Something really big is happening. Which, the main character should really know what it is since he just heard that conversation, but he does not. Let's find out what's happening. We're gonna split up, even though there's only one place to go, which is the castle where Varios went, so I don't know. You're not gonna have much time for him to do that, sadly, my friend. Spoilers, but he's a mentor character. How green was my dragon? See, like, there's so many fun little details in this game that are they're just really charming. It is little grace notes like that. And the sprite work holds up well, even now. This is an old game. This has got to be, like, what, 20 years old at least? And it still looks good. It's a little, you know, the colors are a little bright and the sprite work's obviously simple, but it has a nice aesthetic of its own. It's very kind of iconic and cartoony in that way, you know, like it's like illustrated kind of style. I don't know why this guy is standing here guarding the chapel instead of the gates of the town. This well also, you can't search it. Normally in games, wells at least give you a little description of them if you search them, but not that one. That's a little early detail about, what was that called? Marina or Marinara? It's, Manarina. Manarina. I know it had a lot of M's. Yeah. I don't know what that's for. It's nothing. It's just for this little cutscene, I guess. There's no real point to that. We're gonna go in this house. Say hi to this person who's packing. They're going somewhere. This person is hanging out in the basement. Oh, these two are both bitching about their grandpa or whoever. He's this guy we can recruit later. And he can use axes, as his bookcase suggests. Apparently he learned how to use axes from books, because even the melee warriors in this game are nerds. And here we can't walk past this guy, apparently. Oh, I guess we just had to wait for him to get out of the way. His daughter had a nightmare, which, and since this is a video game, it's going to predict the future, naturally. The whole town was burned down, so, well, it is the hero's hometown. What can you expect? That'll happen pretty soon. It's the start of our adventure is our hometown gets blown up. I really don't know why the card is in the game. It's just a random little detail. This is the inn. I don't think there's anything we can do here. Yeah. The inn has so many beds. It's an absurd number. This tiny little house that has nothing in it but a table and chair. I guess that guy sleeps at the inn. He doesn't have a bed in his house. Then this shop, where we can't actually... This guy needs to find a different profession or at least take a vacation because he's filled with rage at the idea of someone coming to his shop and wanting to buy his wares. Apparently that's just how he is. We don't have any money though. But we'll probably buy some herbs later when we get some money. There's a lot of monsters everywhere. There's no escape. Wow, that guy. Jeez, man. And this guy will be a party member later, as evidenced by the fact that he has a portrait. His name is Gort. Sure. He appears to be a dwarf. Like, low-key, he's a dwarf, but it's not really brought up in game. But he really looks like a dwarf. Let's hear his story. No one talks to me, everyone is too busy. That's his story. He's a depressed guy. Sure, he's gonna tell us a secret. Never trust anyone outside this city. Murderers and thieves, all of them. His secret is that he hates everyone in the world and he's very paranoid. I think his family needs to spend some more time with him. He just seems really sad and lonely. And this guy is just a complete asshole too. This guy is hanging out in his bar all day, just getting drunk and complaining about how everyone in the world is a thief murderer. And he's just like, oh, I just had dementia, it's fine. He is a terrible friend and a worse bartender. And obviously that's where we need to go to move on with the plot here. Let's talk to these guys. This is Guardiana Castle. He doesn't have much to say. No one enters here without Lord Varios' permission. That's actually the headquarters, so obviously we can't go in there until we have some party members. The king seems very worried. You know why? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's about the gates of the ancients. As evidenced by the fact that she too has a face portrait, she will eventually be a party member. Greetings, Ben. She's May, Varios' daughter. She has elf ears for some reason. I don't know if this is like a Legend of Zelda style thing where like everybody has elf ears for no particular reason. But there are elves in this game. There are. And they also have pointy ears, but so do some other people who are not elves, so I don't really know what's up with that. Maybe it's just easier to sprite? I really don't know. She's also a centaur, which the Shining Force games all have centaurs. They don't have mounted knights like humans riding on horses. But they do... I like that this guy just says, huh, until you shove him back into the room. It's pretty funny. But they don't have mounted knights, which appear in a lot of other SRPG games that are set in a medieval setting like this. Like Fire Emblem has mounted knights. But this game only has centaurs. The weird thing is there's not like a kingdom of the centaurs that I remember. You eventually go to like the kingdom of the bird people and the mage land and stuff. But the centaurs only exist as knights in kingdoms otherwise populated by humans. Which just raises so many questions, like, where did these people come from? Is there like a race of the centaurs out there somewhere? Why are they all knights? Is this some like weird fantasy caste system? And why no actual mounted knights? Do horses not exist in this world? So that's why we don't see anybody who just rides a horse? Only centaurs can be mounted units? It raises many questions that are not answered, which is a good description of the Shining Force character design aesthetic overall, because there's a lot of random weird fantasy races. There's the bird people, and there's some like dog people later, and there's the centaurs. There's some people who seem to be dwarves, but it's never really explained. There's like weird, there's like a hamster you recruit, there's like a squid, there's a lot of weird shit. I also love that there's supposedly a beautiful view from this tower, but we can't see it because it would have been hard to program. But yeah, there's many bizarre characters in Shining Force, and it's never explained. I have no idea why it's like that, honestly. This guy is also great. He's just like, fuck you. he He adds nothing, but he is really funny. So that is what I love about this game also. It has lots of just weird, random, stupid shit like that, which is honestly pretty comical. Now we'll see the see the cutscene. We got to skip the king's story. Now what's happening is that our kingdom is under threat and our sole purpose for existence is endangered. And their solution is to send this random level 1 dude and these children who are his friends to go fight off the evil, which does not seem like a winning strategy to me, but it is a JRPG. This guy is also amazing because look at him. He's the embodiment of what I was saying about the Shining Force character design aesthetic. Look at his face. You see on the side where there's a little bit of pink? I'm not sure what those are supposed to be, but to me they kind of look like fins, like a fish. But he also clearly has hair. He has a beard, and his face kind of looks like it might supposed to have fur, like he's a dog dude. But he has fins. Unless those are supposed to be whiskers and the background color was just done incorrectly so that it's pink instead of orange like the rest of his portrait, I honestly do not know. Because the pink is really strange if it's not... It looks like part of his body, but what the hell is he? As far as I know, there's no other character who looks like him. He's not part of a race of dudes who look like him. He's just this guy who's just here. For no evident reason. There's no explanation of what the hell he is or where he came from. He's just here. There's all sorts of weird animal people in this game. Maybe it's just because, it helped the characters look a little more visually distinct in an era when it was hard to make detailed drawings. I don't know. It definitely makes the characters memorable, so I can't complain about it, but it is sort of fascinatingly bizarre. Anyway, so the Gate of the Ancients, there's something beyond it and we're supposed to guard it. We don't actually know what's behind it because the Ancients didn't bother to write it down. They couldn't be bothered to make a fucking manual for this important thing that we have to spend centuries guarding. And we don't know why we're guarding it, but we are. We failed because apparently we didn't actually have anyone standing by the gate to guard it. We were just oh, it'll be fine. It's out in the woods somewhere. And Runefaust has now gone there. Fortunately for us, however, they only sent a bunch of level 1 goblins because they're not very smart. So we've decided to send some children with starter equipment to go fight them. Sure. I don't know what happens if you say no. I think it probably just says but thou must, standard video game thing. It would work. I think it could work. This guy, frankly. He has a great point. We should put him in charge instead of the king. He's very boring looking too, I have to say. There's so many delightfully weird characters in this series, and the king is just a very generic looking king dude. Just very plain. And then we have his bedroom, which is gigantic but has nothing in it but one bed. It's more dangerous out there than you suspect, or at least that's what I've heard. Oh, these people are great too. Because, this woman just has a beef with Tao, who's our first party mage for some reason, and she's like, oh, fuck her, how dare she call herself a mage, but she can actually cast the fire spell, so I don't know what her deal is or why she hates Tao so much. It's not explained. And these books are all about magic. That's because this is the room of Princess Henri, who's far away right now, and she's a mage, as we'll learn when we meet her later in the game. She's quite useful. Oh right, I'm supposed to talk. Sometimes I end up hitting the wrong button because I'm so used to more, I say more modern, but not even much more modern, games from when I was a slightly older child than when I played this one, that have context-sensitive buttons. So you just press A to interact with anything, whether it's a object you're searching or a person you're talking to or whatever. It really does make you appreciate modern sort of advances in gaming, stuff like that, and being able to save anywhere and things like that. That just playing older games is sometimes hard because the controls feel so clunky compared to what I'm used to now. See, this is the guy who's an elf, and he has pointy ears, but so do a bunch of other people, so I just don't even know. Hans, not Hans, Ken, the knight dude, I think he's got pointy ears too. Luke doesn't though, and I think and neither does this guy. And I gotta say, all the people who have the round ears are really short. And I don't know if that's just sort of the art aesthetic, or if they're, all dwarves? It's just, it's hard to say. The character designs are fascinating. They look good though, I gotta say, the sprite work in this game really holds up. And I know that's like a cliche thing to be like, oh, the sprite work is, you know, old-timey sprite work, but I do love retro style gaming. You know, we're off to save the entire world and he only gave us $100. This fucker, like, if he's gonna send a bunch of children to do this, he could at least give us some decent equipment. We can't even buy weapons yet because the guy in charge of the weapon shop is having an existential crisis, so we'll just buy a few herbs just in case. We won't need to use them yet, but they'll be good to have around. Now, in this Genesis collection, there's actually an achievement, if I remember right, for getting to Alterone, which is like the next town, with no more than one person having died in battle. In this game, you can resurrect people who die in battle, so it's not actually that big of a deal, it just costs money. But there is an achievement for that. So, I would like to try and get it if I can. I may not, though. It's been a long time since I've played this game, and the mechanics are honestly a little clunky. If you sense great danger, don't hesitate to retreat. Use your egress spell. This game was actually, or, well, the Shining Force series, Shining Force Sword of Hijinks as a child, was the first time I ever saw or heard the word egress. That is how I learned that word. Gaming can teach you things, friends. It's not so bad for you. So this is our very first battle. Ben, goblins, Runefaust must be up to something. No shit, buddy. They're trying to take over this gate, as we've just heard. We can take them. But in addition to goblins, which are not very dangerous, we also have that mounted, well, he's not a mounted knight, he's another centaur. But the knight dude and these dwarves, which are a bit more dangerous. These people are also apparently very stupid because they thought the key to this gate was going to be hidden in this building that's in front of the gate, which, did they think there was like a spare key hidden under the flower pot or something? That wouldn't be a very good idea. Now there's an earthquake, it's, apparently the building is still safe to wander around in though, even though there's a bottomless pit in the floor. I also don't know why Runefaust is inhabited entirely by, like, goblins and things. There's no, like, humans there, apparently. Who knows? The AI in this game is sometimes a little strange, because, like, in Fire Emblem, which is the game I'm more used to, the enemy will basically always attack you if they can, unless they're, like, set specifically to guard a gate or something like that. And they'll usually use their full movement range to go towards you, unless, again, they're designed to guard one area. But enemies here will sometimes just wander away from you and go backwards. Sometimes they'll just take one step towards you. Sometimes they'll just sit still and not do anything. I'm not really sure how the AI is programmed. There seems to be a fair amount of randomness to it. Which, honestly, I would say makes the game more difficult because you can't easily predict. See, like, right there, that guy could have attacked me, but he just sat there. Okay, we want to start, trying to get Tao some levels, because the mages are obviously really dependent on MP, so we want to level her up earlier on and build up her MP so she can actually do some stuff. Like, her spell costs 2, right? So right now, she can only cast it 3 times. That's not, you know, that's just not enough. In battles later, we'll have more monsters. We're going to want her to be able to cast quite a few times. We're probably going to want to retreat at least once. Also, there's a character we can recruit around here, so we're going to want to retreat at least once and grab him and get some levels. Because in this game, you can retreat and redo battles as many times as you want, and all the enemies will come back every time. So grinding is part of this game, which again, is sort of weird to me to come back to after spending more time playing Fire Emblem, which is the opposite of that. Like, X is completely limited, you do each level once, death is permanent. Very different aesthetic. I'm not going to attack with low because it just won't be worth it. He's very weak. Well, he is the healer, is the thing. Luke has a lot of movement, huh? This guy, I don't know. I usually don't keep him in my party long term because he's okay, but we get a lot of just melee fighters and he never becomes like super good. And he always tends to have low HP, so, you know, he has good defense, but he's not that tanky because of his low HP. Oh, Tao, you got 2 kills and you didn't level up that? She must be really close, though. I really gotta say again, I love the sprite work in this game. Like, the animations are a little slow looking sometimes, like they look like they're going frame by frame. But it does mean you can kind of admire them a little more. And they have that really, like, nice, you know, I don't know how to put it. I don't really know anything about visual art, to be honest, but that kind of like, cartoony isn't maybe the word I'm looking for, but very like elastic, very like bright colors. They really pop. They're very evocative, you know. You really get like a feel of these characters. The music is great too. I love classic chiptune stuff. I'm gonna have to be careful not to die here. Those dwarves are really dangerous because sometimes they'll double attack you and then you'll just die. There is a fair amount of RNG in this game. Which again, I'm more used to Fire Emblem, which although it has random chance, it's more deterministic. It tells you what the percentage of everything is. Whereas this game is much more opaque mechanically. So you never know how much damage you're gonna do or anything. I'm sure there's a way to calculate it from the stats, but the amount of time that would take is somewhat exorbitant. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that hardcore. And it's not like that difficult of a game, in part because you can grind as much as you want. Okay, let's try and at least kill this dwarf, I guess. You know, we can get rid of everyone but the knight, basically, and grind a little. Gotta get those levels. Oh, this will be good. Tao can kill the dwarf. This will be her last spell, too, because she'll only have 1 MP left. I guess, I can't remember if when you get more MP you get it immediately. Oh, I guess not. Yeah, so that's it for her, but that was good. She got a level. Unfortunately, Hans, I can't get him into position to use his weapon. Does anybody else need healing? Could have Luke. Okay, we're gonna move him over here and have him heal, because he'll get more MP for that than he will for attacking. Because the amount of, or X rather, the amount of X we get is dependent on the amount of damage that you did. And he won't do very much damage, he'll do like 1 hit point. Leveling up healers is kind of difficult in this game, because... Oh, don't die low, try not to die. I didn't think that guy was gonna go next. Because they're pretty slow. So look how nice that animation looks, like very like vibrant, you know, the motion is like really vigorous. It just, I don't know, it just looks kind of cool. The colors, I like the highly saturated colors too. It kind of really pops off the screen. The backgrounds are like really just nice to look at. Very classic style. And like, not all sprite art in old games looks good, you know, and I realize this more honestly after playing this Genesis Collection game, because there's like some games where the sprite work just looks like complete ass. It's terrible. Like the shading, oh fuck, I really want to kill that guy. But the shading just is all messed up, and he won't be able to kill that guy, so I'm just gonna have him retreat and heal himself. But you know, the shading is like really flat, or it just looks really weird, but games, so it makes me appreciate games like this more, where the sprite work actually is very evocative and very charming. Like, they're classic for a reason. She can't do anything, I'm just gonna go over here. Oh, please don't die. If the dwarf doubles, he will die. Fuck! See, this is what I mean. There is a lot of RNG. You don't know when they're gonna double. You really don't. Ugh. Well, all we'll lose is money, I guess. We can at least save the game. Because the thing is, that's the nice thing about this game too, is you're not punished heavily for losing a fight. We get to keep all the experience points and stuff that we gain. We lose gold for dying. But keeping the exp is honestly really nice. It means that, you know, it's sort of like, okay, you lost, so the fight was a bit too much for you, but you'll be stronger next time you go in. So it's, but you can see how there is kind of that element of RNG, where if he had only attacked once, we would have been fine. But he got a lucky double hit. So it's unfortunate. But this does give us a chance to recruit our first optional party member. He's hanging out over here chopping some wood, apparently, even though he doesn't use axes, so... He's Gong. He's fought the evil of Runefaust for many years, even though he's only level 1, so he hasn't been doing a very good job. I do like the party join music here, but I feel like it just lingers slightly too long at the very end of it. It's just like that one note just hangs a little much. Now, this guy is a hidden character. We can't recruit him yet, but I think we have to talk to him here to recruit him later. He's just a joke character, but he is fun, so he's not any good, but I just like him. He's like a little hamster or something. He's never explained. So let's save the game here so that if we die again, which hopefully we will not do, I'm hopefully not that pathetic at this game. I don't know if the main character dying counts for the achievement. I guess we'll see, I don't know. But this way, at least we'll be closer to the save point. It's a little more convenient. Gong is actually quite a good character because he'll get healing spells also later, so he can like fight and heal, so it's nice. So we can go back into battle here, and you can see that we've retained our level up. So we can kind of do a little grinding here in this first part of the game. Yeah, the centaurs, why are there centaurs? It's just, where did they come from? Why are there's one dude centaur, his daughter, and then a bunch of male knight centaurs. So like, did they reproduce by like cell division? Just like, how? Where did they come from? There's centaurs in all the other Shining Force games too, and it's never explained at all. I really don't know why they didn't just make them mounted knights. Like, was it complicated to animate? Did they think it would just be awkward why they never dismount indoors? I honestly do not know. But it's a very iconic part of the game, honestly. It doesn't, like, the character designs and aesthetic definitely lends a lot of uniqueness to the Shining Force games, but man, is it weird. It's quirky, I guess, is how I'd put it. I do like it though. But yeah, the sprite work looks great. On the maps, the battle maps here too, the characters' map sprites look nice too. Like, you can clearly differentiate them. And I like the in-combat sprites too. Like, look how nice the mage one looks with like the cape and the pointy hood, and it looks like a very cool wizard. I do like it. The one unfortunate thing is that for quite a few character classes, the unpromoted, basically this game has promotion, you know, when you get to high enough level you can promote to your advanced class. A lot of games have that. Fire Emblem does too. In this one, you don't need a special item or anything. And if I remember right, there's no benefit, or actually no, I think there is a stat benefit to waiting before you promote. But anyway, you can promote and your sprite changes. And for quite a few character classes, the unpromoted sprite looks nicer in my opinion. The promoted ones, like, some of them look a little too busy, or I just don't like the style as much. And the mage sprite is one of those. The wizard sprite, I think, just doesn't look as cool as the mage sprite, which has a much more, like, iconic, you know, Gandalf-y, mysterious wizard kind of look, because of the pointed hood. The upgraded one has a round hood, which I think doesn't look as cool. I always end up using all of the mages in my party because, I don't know, I always do that in games. I really like using mages. Even though Tao is not ultimately as good as Anri, who we'll get later. But I like her a lot, she's cool. I guess I'll just have low heal, and hopefully someday he'll get a level. He honestly is probably not going to be a long-term party member. We're going to get better healers later. He's not particularly good. The other spells he learns are not that good. Each of the magic users has their own individual spell list that they'll learn as they progress through the game, and they're not all equally good. And the spells other than attacking spells mostly kind of suck. Some of them I think don't even like really work correctly, or they just have such low hit chance that they're not really any good. So characters that get a lot of those are not really as good. It's like a lot of old games, honestly, in that it's not terribly well balanced, in part because with all of these really early games, you know, I mean, the genre of SRPGs was still being invented. There just wasn't as much knowledge about how the game could or should be balanced. So I wouldn't say that as a detraction from the game. It's an old game, but it is definitely something to keep in mind. Whoa, critical hit, nice. I didn't actually expect that to KO. One thing you can really observe about this game early on is that I keep comparing it to Fire Emblem because that's the other SRPG series I really play. I've never liked Advance Wars or anything, it's just not my style. Is that, oh, please don't get a critical or anything. His big problem is his HP is really low. So even though he's tanky, he's always in danger of dying. Which I just don't think he's as good as, we'll get other melee fighters later that are, he's just very mediocre. He's not bad, but he's not good. And that's definitely how I would, that's a sad way to put it, but he's just not, you know, of other early game characters. Oh, if only we got one more point there. He might have leveled up. I guess I'll have him just, we don't need to do too much grinding this one specific battle. The next battle is kind of annoying to grind in though, so I don't really want to. But yeah, what was I just saying? Oh, I'm gonna have him heal. Is that Fire Emblem is the other SRPG that I like, and in that, what you tend to have is you have a relatively small army, like maybe you bring 15 characters to a battle and you might be fighting like 40 enemy units. And so the enemy units, except for the bosses, are generally weaker than the player units. So you have like a small number of strong units against a big army of weaker units. So like your one sword person is almost certainly going to defeat like the bandit that you attack. But there'll be a lot of them. Whereas here, our armies are a little more similar in size, and we generally can't one-shot the enemies unless you're like really over-leveled for that fight. You have to dogpile them. So it's very different in style. And it's also like, you know, when you attack, there's not counterattacks and stuff, and double attacks are really rare and stuff like that, so it's a little slower paced. No level for him yet. Oh well. But, you know, soon enough. He doesn't do that much damage early on. Oh, please survive this gong. With the Dark Dwarves, it's the double attack. Oh, don't get a double. Oh, fuck! See, it's RNG. It's complete RNG. Because it's like, you don't know whether he's gonna double. You have no way of knowing. Oh, that is frustrating. Man, I don't mind if I get the achievement, but I, like, don't care enough to really try that hard. If it would be a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna do it. That's my gaming philosophy. Oh, this... If someone weak comes up next in the turn order, oh, he doesn't really need the level. I'm gonna have him go over here. You know what? Sure, Tao can have it. I was gonna try and feed him to low, but... Because he's at 1 hit point, so if they hit it all, yeah, see, they will do that. So then you can get some good X. Leveling Tao up early is important, so she can, like, actually do stuff. Oh, nice. He can cast his last heal, I guess. At least he'll build up a little X. Low is very hard to level up, but, you know, it's good to at least keep our whole party we're currently using up and leveling just as much as we can. And I'm actually going to egress out again, just so we can maybe get Gong a 2nd level. And also res him, obviously. So basically, I like that it says he's in bad shape. It's like he's dead. I'll say he's in bad shape. That's sort of putting it mildly. I don't know if that's like one of those like translation censorship things where it's like, oh, we can't tell the kids that the character died, but we're raising them from the dead, you know, or what, but it sounds a little silly. Oh, he's in bad shape. I'll raise him from the dead. Although honestly, in a world where you can easily raise people from the dead, maybe when you die, you know, it's not that big of a deal. So it really is just like, oh yeah, he's in sort of bad shape. I'm wandering off here because I'm like, is there anything else to do on the screen? I don't think there is, but why not? It is sort of weird to me that you can just wander around the map. Oh, what is this place? Oh, apparently this was a feat. Oh, make it to Alteron. Where do you go back where you came from? I didn't realize you could even... I guess you can't get there until you advance the story. I never bothered going up there. Well, that was cool anyway. We got an achievement. Also, apparently we still go back to the main base even though we saved at the other place, so whatever. But, what was I was saying something about Fire Emblem, but, I don't remember what it was. But yeah, you can, there's so many aspects of this game, like, it's interesting to go back and play games I played as a kid, because, you know, now, as an adult, I've just played some more video games, and video games as a medium have advanced, so it's kind of interesting to go back and see, like, what was state-of-the-art at the time, and stuff like that. The music and art in this game honestly do hold up, though. I think in general, sprite art tends to hold up better than 3D models when it's done well, but just I feel like with 3D modeling, the technology has improved at such a rapid pace that even games that are not that old, they're just like a few years old, can look terrible, whereas well-made sprite art still looks good. You know, so you have things where, like, Final Fantasy VI still looks really nice, and like you can play it and it doesn't look bad at all, whereas Final Fantasy VII at the time was amazing, but now looks sort of primitive. They don't last. But no, I wouldn't say this game has like top quality sprite art. Like it's a little too simplistic in some of the colors, and some of the colors, like especially the grass outside, that green is a little neon. It's eye-hurty. But it definitely is very nice. Some of my favorite sprite art, I definitely like the GBA Fire Emblem games. I think those sprites are just really top notch. 7 and 8 look particularly great. 6 is a little wonky. Yes, level 3! See, now she's getting a bit more MP, so it's nice. She can cast spells 5 times a battle, so that's much more useful. Maybe we can feed a kill to Gong here. That would be really good. He's not got a level yet. I don't want him to fall behind. Lo hasn't either, but he's a lot harder to feed kills to because he can only deal like 1 damage. And he can miss too. There's miss rates in this game. So, who needs healing? Other than me, who I can't reach. Did anyone else even get hit? I don't think they did. Yeah, I guess I'll just have him attack because what else is he gonna do? Oh, I hope if Gong's next, I'm gonna be sad though because he'll be. Oh wow! Oh, that was perfect. Lo got a critical hit. Oh, I'm so happy. We actually managed to get him level 2, and he got some MP. In the recording that didn't actually record, he got a level up and he got no stats. I was mad. It was like, Lo, you fucker. You're just trying to get me to make you leave the party. I guess I'll have her. I don't want to expose her to too much danger, so I'll just have her start with the goblin and not the dwarf. Nice. The spells all have like a fairly small damage range that they sort of do damage within. So that blaze spell will never really do that much more, even if she gets stronger. You have to level her up enough to get the upgraded spells. Really, Gone? Short by 1 point? He has such great movement range, it's really nice, so we can kind of get him in position here. And the knights also get 1-2 ranged weapons, which is also really good, because it just, you know, it gives you more flexibility in positioning. Because you can't control the order that your dudes go in. Like, unlike, again, with Fire Emblem, your whole army goes and then the enemy army goes. Here, it's in order of, I think it has to do with speed, basically, although there is some randomness. So you can't necessarily predict who's gonna go when. Oh, fuck. Gong, please live this. This is what happened last time. Oh, see, and this time he lived. It's just so random. Oh, but now Lo. Oh, the danger returns. Oh, the stress. Oh, he's dead now, though. He can't survive this also. His defenses are not. Oh, whoa, Lo. Oh, fuck. Oh. This RNG in games. RNG in games. If he had not gotten double, he would have lived that amazingly. Oh, well, he got a level. We'll just win without him. It's the 2 dwarves that make this fight hard, honestly, because they take a lot of hits to kill, and they sometimes unexpectedly double, although that goblin apparently can too, but that is the first time I've seen that happen. The dwarves do so much more often because they're stronger. But, you know, we got some levels, so... And some coins. We will be able to res it. We have enough money. Whether you can bring your dead friends back to life is solely dependent on whether you have money. It's a harsh world. It's not really clear. You go to these churches to res them. It's not really clear what god they worship. It's like the god of wealth, I guess. Since they only care about money. That should take care of this goblin. Mages are so good. I don't know if you earn less coins when you're strong enough to earn less exp also, or whether the coins are fixed, because she seemed to earn surprisingly few coins there. Fuck these dwarves with the double attacks. Fucking shit, man. It's bad. I may retreat again just because I don't have a healer now, and I'm concerned that we're gonna die. Although I will say that Rune Knight, not actually as hard to kill as the dwarves. It's really dangerous. Like, it does a lot of damage, but it's not that tanky. Hopefully this can kill the dwarf before Luke dies. Yes, good. This might actually level Luke up to 3. No, not quite, but well, he will soon enough, though, I guess. Rune Knight. Oh, he already has heal, nice. So heal. I thought he got it later, but he starts with it. I forgot. So he can just do a little heal in here. That'll be good. And I think you get exactly the amount of, like, the XP you get is equal to the HP that you healed. Which means that early on, you don't really get that much. Or I guess, no, it's not, because you never get, like, 3 from it. I just think it's more if you healed more. Oh, nice. Ken is level 3 now, too. Very nice. And Tao can help us out here. She won't kill it. I don't think that magic ever criticals. Yeah. It sort of does fixed damage. So it's reliable against really tanky enemies, so that's nice. I honestly, all the characters, having characters with ranged weapons just makes it so much easier to kill stuff, because again, you kind of have to dogpile enemies in order to kill them. But, you fit, you know, that many people adjacent to it, obviously. Apparently Nova came with us. I didn't realize that. The fish dog man. Oh, and there's a battle here, but we're gonna retreat from it, because I want to resurrect Lo. You can see that this battle will also be really annoying because we move slower in these mountains, and our whole party is stuck in this tiny little corridor surrounded by mountains, so you're just like crawling forward, you're blocking each other's paths because you can't pick the order your dudes move in. If you're wondering why I'm still attacking here, it's because we can't egress until it's the main character's turn, so we may as well at least do some stuff, get some X. You know, can't hurt. And for some reason the enemies just retreat, which is strange. Like, why are they running away? I really don't understand the AI in these games. Okay. I like how he says he may not look it. He actually does look just like a friar. He's some dude in like a brown robe. He pretty much looks like a monk. I mean, in this game, the sprite is used for the generic old man, but he doesn't look like someone you wouldn't expect to be a friar. So it's kind of funny that he's just reassuring you that it's true. Oh, and let's save the game also. So that's, you know, we finished the first battle, I guess. And the second battle will take a really long time, primarily because of having to walk through the mountain. It is tedious in the extreme. So let's take a break here. You should rest before continuing. A tired warrior is soon a dead one. But don't worry, you'll be back if you have enough money, so it's not that big of a deal. And here we're back with Simone, who again, she even gets a name, in spite of the fact that she doesn't appear to be a character in the game, so it's like, what is this girl's deal? If I remember right, she's also in Sword of Asia, again as the save screen person, which is like, who are you? Why are you a character in this game? You're a named character. You have a name, but you're not in the game, and we're here to lead the Shining Force, which is the name of the army you're a part of. The music on the save screen is great too. The music in this game in general is really good. So that was the first episode of Shining Force. We've started our heroic quest, and now we're fighting our way back to our hometown, which when we get there will of course have been largely destroyed. That's that's how it goes in JRPGs. That's the price you pay for being the hero. We've already lost it. We've already died once, so we're off to a great start here in terms of my competence at this game, which I haven't played in so many years. But I do love these old Shining Force games. They're great games. So in the next episode, we will spend a really long time walking through mountains so we can go back to our burned out hometown and hopefully get everyone up to at least level 2, maybe level 3. Maybe we'll get lower level? Maybe. But that's all for now.